Hey guys, yeah, I got everything pulled up to check it all out, so figured I might as well make a bed. What the heck, I got it all up here. Just like clockwork again, we have another high-speed Nemesis solar wind event. 1301 kilometers per second being measured by these GOES 13 and 14 satellites around here, and I think 15's up there as well. Of course, we got the 16 and 17, but those are weather satellites. And then the Himawari 8, if you followed my channel back on around October 16th, that's when I caught that planet showing up on the weather satellites too. And these all are in geosynchronous orbit around the Earth at 22,236 miles. So this is all pressure coming from Nemesis and energy, high energy, high electron volt energy. This is the highest they have for simulation on measurement, 4 million electron volts. That indicates the presence of a close by star, because you don't receive that kind of cosmic energy just normal day-to-day stuff. It has to be coming from a pretty close by star, which would be Nemesis. At 100,000 electron volts, that's when electrons start being stripped from atoms and they become ionized, and that's actually when gamma radiation begins to occur. So at 4 million, we got some serious ionization going on. 4 million plus, I would say, judging by these colors, these purples and blacks, and then this is all just whited out here inside this false bow shock where you can see part of it there, which is this would be this here, which is trying to ward off this here, which is trying to ward off this energy coming from the backside of Nemesis. So we got at least 4 million electron volts. But the good thing is, when I researched ionization, especially looking into those purple skies, and I determined that basically, even though these radiation levels are super, super high, and they're causing the nitrogen and even the oxygen in our atmosphere to get ionized, that's why you get these different colored skies, purple and pinks predominantly, and I guess some green too. It's not reaching the planet. It's apparently the atmosphere. These are short wave radiation. And they don't last for any great length of time or travel for any great distance, and apparently they don't penetrate the lower atmosphere, so they're not really reaching the Earth, thank goodness. But anyway, to really understand this better, I put under all my videos my two hypotheses, because this has been an ongoing event. I started really figuring out what the heck was going on in, I guess, probably September, October, when I realized that these solar wind speeds we were getting were being measured inside the magnetosphere and not by the ACE and the discovered satellites out here at the L1 Lagrange point, which is 930,000 miles in front of the Earth. They detect all and measure and collect all the data coming from the sun on solar wind. And that's what you see. This is the Discover real-time solar wind 24-hour graph. And you can see from the phi angle connection that we're still maintaining pretty steady connection, with Nemesis being the predominant interplanetary magnetic field connection amongst the Earth and I would submit the big planet that's out in front. And I got this all detailed on here, so you really have to read this stuff if you're new to the channel to figure out what the heck's going on. And then this one here on a high solar wind speed and that hypothesis, I think it's really playing out now, because this thing is coming like clockwork every day right after midnight. It's been for at least the last, I think four or five now in a row. At either '03 or '07 or '11, I think it was one time. It was right after midnight. We get these super high wind speed numbers, and 400 kilometers per second is about 1,000,000 miles an hour, just shy. The normal solar wind speeds you get coming from the sun, measured by ACE and Discover, are between 4 and 700, and I've seen the estimates as low as 250 to 700. And as you can see, the solar wind speed's down around all day long. It never went above 500, and it's been dropping. Got a little bump there, but it still only went to 460. Now it's down real steady at 420, 418. Anything above 180 indicates a connection, backside connection to another solar body with the Earth, because in this space weather tutorial, Solar Ham, I have it linked in my description box. It's a great little tool. You can just read through this, and it pretty much explains everything you see up on these graphs, which are generated by the ACE and the Discover satellites. The phi angle, excuse me, that's the blue one. If it's 0 degrees, that means it's pointing from the Earth to the sun. And if it's at 180, that's the sun to the Earth connect. So there's not supposed to be anything above 180. And it's been above 180 for as long as I can remember now, since I finally figured out what the phi angle was. I think that was back in midsummer, because I kept looking at it and wondering what the heck it was. I think it was like in July I finally figured out what it was. I went in and researched it out. But anyway, let's get back to here. So we got this high-speed solar wind event. This is at '07. Got these two synced. These are three are all synced at oops, got to get this one up to '07. I was going to click them along just so you could see what it looks like. So here's '07. And then 1301 was the wind speed. Then we got 1285 kilometers per second. 1285. Clicking these along together. I don't know if this is a good way to do it. We'll just loop it back. There's 1105 or 011, 11 minutes after midnight. These are like on 4 minutes. So that's solar wind speed. Click this box down here on the lower right so you can see what's going on. And there's 1665. Wow, that's pretty high. Look at all this plasma trying to be blown away from the planet. We'll just do 3 at a time. Might make it easier. Look out, the magnetopause got all twisted. Okay, so we got 1329. Did you see that one? 1907. The highest prior to that was 1893, a couple days ago. Now we got 1907 at 27 minutes past. And that's what it looks like there. That's over 4.5 million miles an hour, or right around 4.5 million. And that's what it looks like there. And we'll click it 3 more. 1764 there. not done yet. There's 1877. 1252, 1650, 1423, 1205, 1039, 1123. So this has been going on for an hour and 4 minutes, and it drops down to 687 for a minute. Okay, then I think it's stayed down for, so that was at 1:15, so that was an hour and 4 minutes into it. Then it came back up to 11:29 at 2:03, stayed up. I think at about 2:40, 2:31, it was 10:62, then it went to 9:35, 8. So by 2:47, it was back down to 683. There's 2:47. So let me just pull this through real quick. Backed it up. Here's what the magnetopause looks like. See the little satellites trailing around there. Getting some fluctuation. See how the bow shock's getting knocked in? And that's not coming from ACE or that's not coming from the sun. Well, it is from the sun, but it's being accelerated by this big planet out in front that I showed you this morning. Those freaky field lines almost reaching the planet. Not seeing them on this run really. You see them trying to come into the picture out here. So we'll just take this back to the beginning. Pull it through slow. Running out of time. Got about 2 minutes left. So avail yourself of those hypotheses. That will really explain to you what the heck's been going on around here. And because this is an ongoing event. I mean, it's been ongoing for quite a while, but I finally started figuring out everything middle of this summer. And here's what MLSO looks like today. This is before they sanitized it. See all the stuff flying around? You can still see the big objects in here, but they haven't peeled off the first several layers yet. So you have all this debris field, or maybe some energy fluctuations too. I don't know. There's a lot of circular objects and looking through there, and of course we got all that static stuff too, so that's probably has something to do with the gamma radiation and all those electron volts we got pumping around the planet. So that's what that looks like. I don't think I really have anything else to show you. Now they'll have this cleaned up by tomorrow. You won't see all this stuff flying around. I think what they do is they peel off the first several layers of altitude off of these pictures. And I've showed you both versions. This one only has about, oh, it's got quite a few. I didn't think it had that many. It had 80 some loops there. So we'll watch this solar wind event. It's coming up again. These things are running pretty close to sync. There we go. So anyway, I figured since I had all this stuff up, might as well make a vid, because who knows if it'll stay up. Anyway, God bless. Thanks for listening. Peace, and I'm out.